Ever thought twice about coming out of a grocery shop? Well, if you are a ReZero fan, you sure must be dubious about what mind-breaking fate awaits you. From rob madmen to maids who can literally smash you if you get to their bad side, the world of ReZero is sure filled with its happy and depressive moments. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 ReZero moments and how one boy named Subaru wishes that he never even thought about being teleported to a fantasy world. Starting off the list, we have Team Subaru vs White Whale.
So that's the White Whale.
After all that pressure and depression of the last episodes, it was always better to see all of our favourite and hated characters join in a battle to defeat a common foe. And in this case, that common foe is the White Whale. The White Whale is one of the demon beasts rumoured to have been created by the witch to wipe out humanity, and Subaru first encounters this giant whale while traversing the mist. Later, we actually find out that the mist is created by the magic of the whale. Taking down the White Whale became a peak moment of ReZero because of the friendship it created within the characters and the sad memories that evolved with it. For the first time, members from the Amelia, Krush, and Anastasia camps joined forces to defeat this monster, while Wilhelm, who suffered the loss of his wife, finally managed to avenge her murderer by landing the final blow on the monster. This was the Avengers Assemble moment for all ReZero fans.
Jers, follow those two fools into battle!
Coming in next is Julius punishing Subaru.
I administer the death penalty to this insubordinate man who sullied the knighthood's honor!
Next up, we have another moment where Subaru has to question why he was born in such an unjust isekai world again. Once he tries to rectify the insults the council drops on Amelia and publicly insult the knights, Julius, Anastasia's Hoshin's knight and a member of the Royal Guard decides to teach Subaru a lesson and invites him for a duel. Subaru, being the naive person he is, accepts the challenge only to be publicly shamed by his opponent. This also gives us a twist. It was common for anime protagonists to win such battles by his sheer willpower, but in this case, Subaru's willpower, nor strength, was enough to even land a single blow on Julius. This scene gave some Game of Thrones character development to Subaru, while teaching him that pride and morality doesn't always win every situation, and what's more, the result of this fight also created some negative repercussions, such as Subaru's depression and his fight with Amelia. And it was one of those moments in the third story arc that brought out the lost tension of the show once again.
Oh dear, you found that? Well, I have no choice then. No choice at all.
Subaru's first death comes in at number 8. Your first experience is always a thing to remember when it comes to special events, especially death. When Subaru and Satella finally track down the girl named Felt who stole her insignia, Subaru finds a storekeeper brutally killed. When he tries to find out clues about the death, he is attacked by a mysterious figure lurking in the dark. Subaru falls down, suffering from a mortal wound, and in his dying breath sees the same happen to Satella. What makes this scene so special is that it was really well executed and managed to turn a light-hearted moment to something much darker. Suddenly, the benevolence of the atmosphere was replaced by Subaru's feelings as he dies. He explains the burning feeling in his body, and the feelings of his face was well animated to show us the pain he has to go through. This scene also evoked its own sense of mystery and gave us an introduction to Subaru's return by death ability. Being the first plot twist of the show, this will be a scene ReZero fans will always remember, and boy, aren't they gonna get a lot of that. Next up, we have Wilhelm and Theresia flashback.
Hey. Do you like flowers?
Flashbacks can be sad, happy, nostalgic, or even melancholic, and ReZero sure delivers us that flashback scene that can bring tears for your eyes. Wilhelm is a battle-hardened soldier who meets Theresia, the girl who has taken the mantle of Sword Saint. He later realizes that Theresia is not bearing the title because she likes it, but because she was fated to.
It's humiliating.
I see.
Wilhelm later takes the burden away from her and takes the title himself, and eventually Theresia falls in love with him. Even though this scene was short, it managed to make us emotionally connected to Theresia. We realize she was the girl who shoves aside her own feelings for others, which is why she bore the sword of Saint in the first place. And her getting a happy union with Wilhelm to her own death at the hands of the White Whale managed to bring both smiles and tears for the audience. Once again, ReZero showed us how great the show was at capturing our emotions. Subaru vs Petelgeuse Romanee-Conti comes in at number 6.
Oh, inconceivable! That simply cannot be! Come on, let's go, Patrichet!
Next up, we have the death of one of the most hated characters of anime, which was sure one of the most rewarding moments for all ReZero fans. Petelgeuse had been one of the most hideous villains Subaru had to face, and the one who managed to nearly shatter his personality if not for Rem. And even though this may not be your typical anime battle, Subaru really managed to remain badass and get rid of the mad villain once and for all. It was not only one of the most suspenseful moments of the anime, but also one that executed it very well. There was also a sense of mystery related to this scene, with Petelgeuse shouting out the name of Satella at his final moments before Subaru finally perished him away with the help of his gospel book. Being one of the best final takedowns of all time, this moment from ReZero will sure be a thing written in our memory. Up next, we have Rem's speech to Subaru. After all that gruesome violence and depression Subaru had to go through, there should be at least one person to drag him out of the psychological abyss he's fallen into, right? Luckily, that's where Rem comes to his rescue.
Now please, tell me what happened that's bothering you so. If you can't tell me, then just trust me. I swear that I'll do something to make it right.
In one of the most heartfelt moments of anime, Rem acknowledges every good thing she knows about Subaru and tells why he really likes him. For every pessimistic argument Subaru tells, Rem pulls an argument from her arsenal to counter it. The speech extends for more than 10 minutes, but the scene showed how much dialogue can accomplish without visual fights alone. Within those 10 moments, Subaru's character changed from a depressed boy to a man who learns to move forward. And that's all because of Rem.
You'll see the man you fell in love with become the most awesome hero you and the rest of this world have ever known!
No wonder she won the Best Girl award in the 2006 Anime Awards, because when you're down, she's the only one who can lift your spirits high. Petelgeuse torturing Subaru and killing Rem comes in at number 4.
You are a fake, a poorly acted madman. If your insanity was genuine, you would pay no heed to the cases of others.
The third arc of ReZero was sure one of the worst arcs for Subaru. Even though more pain is yet to come, this was the peak of emotional and psychological breakdown to our protagonist. Petelgeuse not only murders people in front of him, but also utters out words to break Subaru's mind. As much as we hate the robbed madman named Petelgeuse, we have to give credit for his introduction in the series. The man was nuts, but he was clearly well versed in breaking our minds. The moment reaches its peak when Rem arrives to save Subaru, but Petelgeuse tortures and mutilates her by twisting her arms and hands.
It hurts! It hurts! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
The scene is directed in a dark setting with raw brutality, which empathizes the melancholic tone of the series. From the painful screams of Subaru to the bloodied rag-dolled body of Rem, this was the moment the anime series showed us how emotionally unstable the antagonist of the arc really was. At number 3, we have Rem killing Subaru. You know what they say, the best girl can become the worst girl if you get to her bad side. And for anyone who knows Rem, getting to her bad side is a big no-no. Unfortunately, Subaru does get to her bad side after his introduction. Once Subaru arrives at the mansion, both the sisters smell the scent of the witch from him. Having their childhood traumatized by the witch and her cult, it is no wonder the two of them give him the cold shoulder. But Rem takes it one step further and plans to get rid of him. And being the fierce girl she is, she decides to make it as painful as possible. This scene once again showed another depressing fact of Subaru's life, and also concluded the mystery of the Roswell Mansion killer we had in the previous episodes. Our first impression of Rem sure wasn't something great, but we are happy she managed to turn our impressions on her later on. Next up, we have the moment Rem turned badass. She went from the regular maid girl to a fully equipped killing machine within seconds. When Subaru and Rem are surrounded by Ma beasts, Rem is the one who stands to defeat them. But just like the Hulk has an angry side, Rem sure has a side that should never be touched as well. Her battle with the Ma beasts also showcased her Oni bloodline. The Oni bloodline grants Rem a single white horn on her forehead, which incredibly accelerates her physical strength and also gives her great agility and speed. The scene also showed a different side of Rem's character, her protective nature of her allies, which gave her a more positive outlook. Establishing one of the core characters of the series, this scene was sure one of the best in the series. And once again, more proof that Rem sure is a girl that will give you hell if you're her enemy. And finally, at number 1, we have Puck killing Subaru. Where should we get started on this one? The direction, the cinematography, the music, the emotion? There are so many things ReZero episode 15 combined to make it a masterpiece of an anime episode. As obvious, the core theme of the episode is suffering and tragedy, but what makes the episode so special compared to others? Many anime series try to grip the concept of tragedy and create emotions within the viewer, but fail to do so because of the lack of certain elements. But the ending of episode 15 had that great build up for a tragedy scene, and also explicitly established the pain Subaru had to go through. From the tortures of Petelgeuse to the death of Rem, to Subaru finally walking inside the gates of the mansion in that climactic moment, only to be beheaded by Puck, was not only an epic moment of tragedy, but something that kept us gaping our mouth the entire time. At this moment, the show questioned the audience, how much can a man suffer before he finally breaks down? And the scene answered its own question by visualizing what a broken man looks like right in front of our eyes. This is, without doubt, the best moment of ReZero. And with that, we've reached the end of the list, folks. So, are you depressed enough? Getting reborn each time you die can sure be an important quirk, but you should never forget the pain that comes along with death, or the pain of seeing your loved ones die right in front of your eyes. And perhaps being teleported to another world might not be a great thing after all. With our hopes lit up for ReZero Season 2, where we are sure to get a lot more pain and suffering. So what do you think of our list? Feel free to give your opinions in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. So until next time, otakus in arms, stay home and stay safe. See ya!